right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
The ballot battle over abortion.
It's preventing government interference.
How advocates hope 380,000 signatures will further their cause.
And the doctor told him he was lucky to be alive.
A WashU professor hurt during a pro-Palestinian protest. Students rallying in support. At the same time, college graduation ceremonies were happening.
A line of storms, some severe, some weren't. Scary looking either way, but they've moved through. What we're in store for overnight before another round of storms is on the way.
What a busy weather day throughout the bi-state. Hail hitting the county. Drivers faced with downpours and neighbors watching water rushing down their streets. Storm made for a soggy game at the ballpark. Thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Brent Solomon. Right now, those storms are out of the area, but there may be an even stormier week ahead. Meteorologist Gary Frank here now with your Weather First forecast.
Yeah, quiet conditions now, Brent, after a loud and even some of these thunderstorms that weren't severe packed a punch with 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. And when you get severe weather, 58 mile an hour winds, 1-inch hail. Some of you didn't get that. And even in those severe thunderstorms, we may not have seen that as well, but it doesn't mean they won't impact your day. As we had that cold front that moved through, it was a weak front, but still it provided some storms with heavy rainfall. And for the first time in a while, we're actually worried about some minor flooding. And there's still one area, even as we zoom in to what these storms move through, about 3 to 4 hours or so. And you'll still see one little tiny area in Jefferson County that has that flash flood warning in place. And as the rain ends, that's going to be good news for us overnight. This flash flood watch will end, or flash flood warning will end, where you've had about 2 to 3 inches in some localized areas. Right now, temperature-wise, though, we're holding steady. We're still seeing temps at 68 degrees, and that northwest breeze indicates that we have the cold front that moves through, but it's still humid as we continue to look at that. So for the rest of the evening, believe it or not, we're going to fall into the mid-50s. So maybe you can open up your windows. At least your AC doesn't have to work as hard, but it will be working hard again as we work hard to track another round of storms. We have our next set of weather alert days. We'll track that for you and time that severe weather threat out this week.
All right, Gary, stay close. Today, a rally of support for a local professor who was badly hurt when multiple police officers were breaking up a protest. It was at WashU last weekend. It comes as pro-Palestinian demonstrations and arrests continue to happen nationwide. Today's rally happening as graduation ceremonies were happening at SIUE. 5 on Your Side's Megan Kernan reports.
SIUE students held a March for Palestine Saturday afternoon outside of the building where multiple graduation ceremonies were taking place. About 50 people peacefully protested around campus, mainly to honor Dr. Steve Tamari, a 65-year-old history professor at SIUE, who was arrested and sent to the hospital after a protest at WashU last week.
We are here in support of Dr. Steve Tamari, who was brutalized by the police at the WashU campus for simply doing his duty of documenting what was going on.
5 on Your Side obtained video showing what happened 1 week ago. You can see Tamari was taking a video on his phone right before the incident unfolded. During the police response, Tamari says he was, quote, body slammed and crushed by the weight of several St. Louis County police officers and then dragged across campus. Tamari says one doctor told him he's lucky to be alive. Tamari's wife says he's out of the hospital now, but suffered 9 broken ribs and a broken hand, which will need surgery.
After seeing what happened to him, it was just devastating. I mean, so many people on campus love that man.
We have not heard anything from the administration in regards to what happened there. They won't even say his name.
When a student gets in a car crash, I get an email about it, and it says, oh, we hope this person gets better. But for Dr. Tamari, who's a professor, and a beloved professor at that, who's had so much impact on people, they didn't say anything.
Though the protest had already ended peacefully, SIUE diverted the next group of graduates out the back exit out of caution.
I still think we got our word across. We had some people come up and thank us for being out here and supporting us.
But Connor Wagner says the protest was also met with criticism.
We had people here complaining that we were doing this outside of commencement and we were ruining their graduation, but these kids in Gaza don't even get graduations.
In Edwardsville, Megan Kernan, 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, Megan reached out to St. Louis County Police for a response to what the professor says happened to him. We'll let you know when we hear back. And just minutes ago, SIUE responded, saying they cannot comment on what happened at another university's campus. A man is behind bars tonight after police say he threatened to bomb a Walmart. Police say it happened Wednesday evening at the store off Highway 47 in Troy. They say around 6 that evening, Riley Hunt ran through the store, shouting about having a bomb. Officers swept the building for explosives. They didn't find any. Police later arrested Hunt at his home. He's being held without bond. Someone hit and killed a woman in St. Louis's Vandeventer neighborhood. It happened last night on Whittier and Page. Police say the woman and someone else were waiting for a ride. When that ride got there, both walked across traffic to get in. That's when an unknown car hit the woman and drove off. She was pronounced dead on scene. We will keep you updated as we learn more. Just a few hours ago, we got word of another crash, this one happening on Route 370 in North St. Louis County. Here's the scene from around 5:30 this evening by the Mills Mall. We're trying to get more information for you, but it appears an Amazon truck was involved in that crash somehow. The scene started to clear a little after 6 p.m. Well, water is still flowing following a water main break early Friday morning. Here's a look at the scene just a few hours ago on Penrose and Blair. While crews have decreased the flow a little, it's not expected to be entirely shut off for a little while longer. We will keep you posted. Right now, the mayor's office says there's no need for people in that area to take any precautions. Tonight, the battle of abortion rights in Missouri continues. Just 24 hours ago, abortion rights advocates delivered signatures to the state capitol. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay shows us why you can now see the issue when you vote in November.
I didn't want to look back on this point in my life, especially during this process, and think that I didn't do everything I could in my power to try and make this happen for Missourians everywhere.
It was a celebration for abortion rights advocates in Jefferson City as they delivered more than 380,000 signatures to the state capitol. That's more than double the amount needed to get a constitutional amendment restoring abortion rights on November's ballot.
Today is very personal for me, because when I had my abortion, it was a lot different, even though it was still restrictive.
It's those reasons and many more that Missourians for Constitutional Freedom spent the last 3 months working to collect enough signatures to submit its proposal. Volunteers gathered the signatures from every Missouri county and congressional district. 5 on Your Side spoke with advocates while they were collecting signatures about what the amendment would do.
It's preventing government interference, and what the whole morale behind the amendment is saying, you know what, it should be up to Missourians and their doctors to make decisions about their personal health care.
But not everyone supports the proposed amendment, including Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. He believes it could walk back decades of pro-life work.
Missouri became the very first state after the Dobbs decision become abortion-free. And the reason for that is because the people of Missouri are pro-life. The people of Missouri do not want abortion here in the state of Missouri.
It's not a done deal just yet, though. The Secretary of State's office has until July 28th to certify signatures from the petition, and many believe the ballot measure is expected to face some legal challenges over the next few months. But that won't stop advocates from continuing the fight.
It's not just for us right now or the people that fought for it before us. It's for the future. It's for your sisters. It's for your children. It's for your mothers. It's for your friends. All of this is for other people.
Mercedes McKay, 5 on Your Side.
Coalition Life sent us this statement. It reads, quote, "We will resoundingly reject this ballot initiative that seeks to enshrine late-term partial birth abortion in our Constitution. We all can agree that helping women in need is the goal. This ballot initiative does not do that," end quote. The St. Louis IRS office needs your help. Its Criminal Investigation Unit, which is the branch responsible for examining crimes like money laundering and identity theft. They're looking to hire special agents. Leaders joined today in St. Louis Weekend Edition to discuss what they're looking for.
We are working to recruit a very, very diverse workforce. We would really like to be representative of the communities where we work, and we have also committed to 30% of our workforce or our special agent training classes being women by the year 2030.
You can find that full interview and more information about the positions right now on KSDK.com. A new initiative is underway to help steer young people onto the right track. Today, 100 black men of Metro St. Louis announced a $660,000 grant from the state Senate. It will support a program called Project Rebound, focusing on mentoring youth and men by addressing the problems that lead to incarceration. The program will also help participants working to re-enter society after they've been behind bars. Fiestas in the forecast.
Everybody's having a good time. I was in Cherokee Street since the day they started, and every year it got bigger and bigger and bigger.
How St. Louis celebrated Cinco de Mayo a day early. Rain delays at Busch Stadium. Fans reacting to a 3-hour pause.
My resolve was starting to wane.
Other events also getting their share of stormy weather.
We're already looking at our next risk for severe weather even after this evening's severe storms. What Tuesday will be like and why it's just one of a couple of different days that we're looking at this week.
In just a few hours, many across the country will celebrate Cinco de Mayo, a commemoration of Mexico's victory in battle against the French in 1862. And even though today's the 4th, that didn't stop people from celebrating early. Over on Cherokee Street, one of the most diverse festivals in St. Louis kicked off at 11 o'clock this morning. Stretching from Nebraska to Jefferson Avenues, more than 100 vendors packing together for that huge celebration. Folks could get a taste of traditional Mexican street food, watch a real lucha libre wrestling match, and enjoy live music from 2 separate stages. Some attendees have been coming to this event since it first started more than 2 decades ago.
I was in Cherokee Street since the day they started, and every year it got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's good for families, for the businesses, for the community. People know that there is a Mexican and Hispanic community here, so it's a great time.
And to keep the thousands of people safe on the streets this year, entrances to the festival were limited to 4 grand entrances featuring heightened security and, new this year, mandatory bag checks. More people celebrated early over in South City today. Molly's in Soulard hosted its grand celebration. They had games and music, food, and of course drinks. Their featured beverage, a Patron margarita, served in a special cup modeled after the unique tequila bottle.
Some loud thunderstorms and heavy rain fell in portions of our area today. How much rain we receive, we'll look at a couple of very cool time lapses and talk about our next severe weather threat coming up.
Well, you heard Gary's forecast, and I can tell you that today's storms rained out one of the biggest celebrations in Florissant, just a little ways away from where you were just looking. Take a look at this scene. Rain came down before the parade at the Valley of Flowers Festival tonight. The rain forced people to take shelter during their annual carnival, soaking both little thrill seekers, food vendors, ride operators, and more. Storms forced folks inside during Kentucky Derby Day at Fairmount Park. Luckily for spectators, the last race wrapped up there right before the rain rolled in. Special thanks to Kathy Kernan for sending us this video. Well, today's Cardinals game also impacted by the storms. The game went into extra innings, and with just 1 out left, a heavy downpour fell over Busch. It was delayed about 3 hours, ultimately ending in a Cardinals loss. But there were still some dedicated fans that just stuck it out. We caught up with a few of them right as they were walking out.
Is that the baseball game kind of follows the patterns of life, you know? I mean, it just, sometimes you get a rain delay, sometimes the game goes short, sometimes it goes long, but you stick it out all the way to the end.
That's what a true fan does. We'll have more on tonight's game coming up in just minutes. But right now, we're back with Gary Frank with another look at this weather first forecast.
I'm interested to see if Annie has got a little more from that guy wearing a Sox jersey and a Cardinals hat. Yeah, there's some interesting things about that, right?
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that was it was an old school Sox jersey, but it's something to check in on. But we'll wait for Annie to give us an update. But here's the storm that impacted this. You can see looking down Market Street, and I want to show you this time lapse, and I'm going to get you on the other side. And of course, a lot of rain that settled in. But watch this shelf cloud. You can really see the leading edge of that move through and bursts of rain. And those look more ominous than they really are, but it's just kind of indicative of just how we said that front move through. And you can see some clouds throughout the rest of the day. And then, of course, we cleared out. But look at this view of the shelf cloud. This is the most significant thing here as you look what Chris shared this. And a lot of you saw this very scary looking shelf cloud. And it really has to do with the fact that we had that cold front sitting in and the leading edge of that gust front out ahead of that storm that provided maybe some 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts downtown, but overall storms where there were a couple of spots that, especially in the Metro East, that had upwards of 40, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and of course, even to the south. More of that was on the Illinois side when those storms organized into a line, not so much on the Missouri side. And as that front has moved through, things are quiet overnight. You don't have to worry about that as we head into the overnight hours. But our total rainfall depends on where you were, because the last 12 hours or so, we got upwards of 1/3 of an inch in St. Louis, 3/4 of an inch in Chesterfield. And most of the time we'd be excited about this, but it's already saturated. So overall, there are pockets of 1 to 2 inches. That's why you see that flash flood warning on the bottom of your screen. But look at this cool air behind. This is part of the cold front. It's going to dry us out for the most part, even though we're at 68. Look at Columbia at 60. So if you're just getting ready to go to sleep, you want to open up your windows, give your AC a break. That's not out of the question, because I think overnight we'll see better conditions, dry start to your Sunday, and then improving conditions for the second half, with maybe a few showers late when I join you tomorrow, 24 hours from now. Not impactful, not strong. But our next impactful system looks to be into the beginning of next week. So temps in the mid-50s in the morning, much, much cooler, and we'll finish pretty nicely. Once that's out of our way on Monday, we'll turn our attention to the Pacific Northwest. Our next storm system will continue to work its way into the Midwest, and that's as an active weather pattern sets up for our severe weather potential. That will increase. The Storm Prediction Center has a wide area on Tuesday and Wednesday under an outlook for the possibility of strong to severe storms again, and that's why there are next weather alert days. Now, of course, we're going to continue to monitor the possibility and how that's going to settle in, but there will be a couple of rounds and more active patterns setting up once again before maybe we finally get a little bit more quiet. But we'll get a little break. A lot of dry time in that 10 days, but Tuesday and Wednesday, staying busy.
Yeah, we're going to have another alert, huh?
Another alert.
All right, my friend, we know you'll keep us posted. Guess what? We've got Annie in the house.
Well, thank you, Gary, for talking about the fact that we have a very important sports day, and that rain definitely was a huge impact. But let's talk about it, because not only the Cardinals, but also it was a bitty St. Louis sports day this Saturday with City, Battlehawks, and of course those Cardinals all in action. We'll find out who was the only team who pulled out a win today after the break.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
City SC kicking off our action tonight as they take on the Houston Dynamo in Texas. While third time may not have been the charm, it was these teams' third meeting nonetheless this year, having previously played in the Champions Cup. City SC and the Dynamo splitting those earlier matchups, and both offenses tonight stayed very quiet, but that's because their defensive units came out to play. Keeper Roman Berkey making this unbelievable save in the 13th minute. No score in the first half, but then later in the contest, Houston makes a last-ditch effort in the 82nd minute, and Berkey again hurling himself for a ridiculous save to keep the Dynamo at a big old goose egg. It ends up being a scoreless tie and City's 7th draw this season. The Battlehawks once again relying on A.J. McCarron's cannon arm this afternoon as they look to extend their 4-game winning streak against the Houston, funny enough, Roughnecks. After a scoreless first quarter, McCarron connects with Hakeem Butler, putting them up 6-0. Just before halftime, McCarron finds Steven Mitchell in the back corner for the touchdown. Battlehawks up 14-0 at the half. Then the Roughnecks finally get on the board in the second half, but they couldn't clip the Battlehawks' wings late in the fourth quarter. McCarron finds Butler again for his 3rd touchdown of the day. Battlehawks get that big win, 22-6, to extend their winning streak to 5 games. But head coach Anthony Beck said they left points on the field, something they can't do against undefeated Birmingham coming up.
This is a game where we talk about our team and everybody has to play well. I think we know who our best players are. Our best players have to show up in this game. That's what it's all about. You know, they talk about that in the next level. You know, we have those kind of players, and this is one of those games where you have to show up.
The Cardinals battled not only the White Sox this afternoon at Busch Stadium, but also Mother Nature. Let's go to the 5th inning right here with the White Sox up 3-0. Brendan Donovan gets the Redbirds on the board, scoring 2 with this double. A few batters later, it's going to be Nolan Arenado blasting a 3-run homer, giving the Cardinals a 5-3 lead. That wouldn't last long. The game would later go into extra innings in the 10th with the Sox up 1 and the bases loaded. For the Cardinals, the skies opened up over Busch, and after a 3-hour run delay, Ivan Herrera, with the chance to be the hero, gets frozen over the plate, and the White Sox end up with a huge win, 6-5. Manager Ollie Mermel on the rally that came up just short, talking to us afterwards.
You look at Burleson's at bat. Obviously, that's not what he's trying to do with the ground ball to third there, but Goldie does a nice job of enticing the third baseman to try to go to the plate with it in order to give yourself multiple chances instead of them turning a double play there. So he did his job as a base runner. We load the bases and then just didn't take quality at bats after that.
After the game, the Cardinals announced Dylan Carlson is expected to be activated tomorrow. The outfielder completed a rehab assignment with AAA Memphis and worked out at Busch today, hopefully providing some much-needed new blood in the Redbirds' batter's box. Carlson started the season on the injured list with a sprained left shoulder. So again, they need it, but that was a tough loss against the Sox. It was not easy to watch.
But those fans waited it out in the rain.
They did.
Yeah. All right, Annie. Thank you for that. Speaking of rain, I see a little chance tomorrow, right?
Yeah, mostly later on today, 24 hours from now. We'll continue to keep you posted online.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. That's all of our time at 10. Saturday Night Live is next.